As you listen to these words, something remarkably ordinary is happening. You are hearing a voice. You are understanding language. Perhaps you are also noticing the room around you, the feeling of your body, or a sound somewhere in the distance. Experience is happening, just as it has been happening every waking moment of your life. But for a moment, instead of focusing on what you are experiencing, notice something much simpler. You know that you are experiencing it. You are hearing these words, and somehow you know that you are hearing them. You do not need someone else to confirm that sound is occurring. There is the sound, and there is the awareness of the sound. There may be thoughts about what you are hearing, and you are aware of those thoughts too. There may even be curiosity, confusion, skepticism, or interest arising as you listen. Whatever appears, somehow it is known. Now notice something even more curious. You can become aware of the fact that you are aware. You are aware. Then you notice, I am aware that I am aware. But you can notice that too. I am aware that I am aware that I am aware. And if you continue following the thought, it seems as though you could keep going forever. Another layer can always appear behind the previous one, noticing what came before it. At first, this may sound like little more than a clever mental game. But underneath it is one of the deepest questions we can ask. Who, exactly, is doing all of this noticing? Most of the time, we never stop to ask, because our attention is captured by the contents of experience. We see things, we hear sounds, we feel sensations. We think about yesterday and imagine tomorrow. We experience frustration, love, anxiety, hope, sadness, excitement, and countless smaller emotions that come and go throughout the day. Our attention moves continuously from one experience to another without stopping to notice the simple fact that every one of those experiences is somehow known. A thought appears, and you know the thought is there. An emotion rises, and you recognize that something has changed inside you. A memory enters your mind, and somehow you know it is a memory rather than something happening in the room around you. You can close your eyes and imagine the face of someone you love. No physical face is in front of you, yet the image appears within experience and is known. Even when your mind wanders, and you suddenly realize you have not been paying attention, something fascinating has happened. You became aware that you were distracted. There is a subtle distinction here between experience and awareness of experience. Experience includes everything appearing within consciousness: thoughts, sensations, memories, emotions, sounds, images, and perceptions. Awareness is the simple fact that these experiences are known at all. Usually, we are fascinated by what appears. We want certain thoughts to disappear and others to remain. We hold on to pleasant experiences and resist painful ones. We replay the past and rehearse the future. Much of human life takes place inside this constantly changing stream of experience. But rarely do we turn our attention toward the knowing itself. And when we do, something peculiar happens. If you notice a thought, that thought becomes something you are aware of. If you notice an emotion, the emotion becomes something you are aware of. If you notice your breathing, the sensation of breathing becomes something you are aware of. You might even notice a feeling that there is a you somewhere behind your eyes watching everything happen. But that feeling can be noticed too. Even the inner voice saying, "I am the one who is aware," appears as another thought that is somehow known. So perhaps we should resist answering the mystery too quickly. We do not yet need to decide whether awareness is entirely produced by the brain, whether consciousness is something more fundamental, whether there is a permanent observer somewhere inside us, or whether the feeling of being an observer is itself something created by the mind. Those questions will come later. For now, simply notice what is happening. Before you describe this moment, you are already experiencing it. Before you decide what you think about these words, you are already aware of them. And before the thought, "I am aware," appears in your mind, awareness somehow seems to already be here. So allow the question to remain unanswered. You are aware. You know that you are aware. And you can become aware that you know that you are aware. But beneath all those layers of thought and language lies a quieter mystery. What knows that you are aware? If awareness is here, and experience is being known, it seems natural to assume that there must be someone doing the knowing. Somewhere inside all of this experience, there must be an observer, a me, watching everything happen. Most of us carry this feeling without questioning it. We may not imagine a literal person sitting inside our head, but there is often a strong sense that we are located somewhere behind our eyes, looking outward at the world. The body is ours. Thoughts happen inside us. Emotions move through us. And somewhere beneath all of it seems to be the person we call me. But what happens if we actually go looking for that person? Begin with your thoughts. Perhaps one is appearing right now. Maybe you are wondering where this is going, thinking about something you need to do later, or quietly commenting on what you are hearing. Whatever the thought is, notice it. The moment you do, something interesting happens. The thought becomes part of your experience. It is something you are aware of. So, can the thought itself be the observer? Probably not in the simple sense we usually imagine, because the thought is being observed. Now consider your emotions. Perhaps you feel calm, curious, restless, distracted, or uncertain. You can turn your attention toward that feeling and recognize that it is there. The emotion is known too. The same is true of your memories. You can remember childhood relationships, mistakes, accomplishments, people you have loved, and moments that changed you. These memories help create the story of who you believe yourself to be. Yet memories can also be observed. They appear within awareness, just as thoughts do. Perhaps the observer is your personality, the collection of traits that makes you recognizably you. But even personality can become something you examine. You can describe yourself as independent, sensitive, compassionate, cautious, adventurous, or creative. You can question those characteristics and watch them change over time. The same is true of your beliefs. Something you once considered unquestionably true may look completely different years later. Even your inner voice, the narrator that seems to speak as you, can be heard. It says things like, "I shouldn't have done that. I hope this works." Or, "I need to remember this." But if you can hear that voice, then the voice itself is another experience being known. This is where the search becomes strange. Perhaps the observer is not a thought, emotion, memory, belief, or personality. Perhaps it is simply the feeling of being located inside your body. Many people experience a subtle sense of being somewhere behind the eyes, as though consciousness is looking outward through the body. But even that feeling can become the object of attention. You can notice the sensation of being behind your eyes, which means that sensation too is appearing within awareness. Every time we seem to find the observer, we discover that whatever we found can itself be observed. This does not necessarily mean the self is an illusion, or that you do not exist. There is clearly a meaningful continuity to being you. Your memories, relationships, values, body, personality, and history form an ongoing pattern that matters. Psychology sometimes describes part of this as the evolving story, through which we organize experience into a coherent identity. It connects who we remember being yesterday with who we believe ourselves to be today, and who we imagine becoming tomorrow. That story is useful and may be essential for navigating human life. But the story of you and the immediate experience of being aware may not be exactly the same thing. Your story contains your name, history, roles, successes, failures, relationships, beliefs, fears, hopes, and expectations. Yet awareness seems to be present before you tell any of those stories. For a moment, you can stop thinking about your past. You can stop describing your personality. You can stop repeating your name. An experience does not disappear. There is still seeing. There is still hearing. There is still sensation. There is still knowing. So the question becomes more difficult. If thoughts are observed, emotions are observed, memories are observed, the inner narrator is observed, and even the feeling of being a person somewhere behind your eyes can be observed. Then, where is the observer we assumed must be standing behind all of them? Perhaps we simply have not looked deeply enough, or perhaps the assumption that there must be a separate observer, the behind experience, is itself something we need to examine. For now, we can leave the question unanswered. If everything I call me can appear within awareness, where exactly is the one who is aware? In the last section, we went searching for the observer. We looked at thoughts, emotions, memories, beliefs, personality, the inner voice, and even the subtle feeling of being located somewhere behind the eyes. But every time we seemed to find something that might be the observer, we discovered that it could also be observed. So perhaps we need to follow this problem all the way down. If there is an observer watching your experience, what knows that the observer is there? Perhaps there is another observer watching the first observer. But then, what observes that observer? We quickly find ourselves climbing an infinite staircase. There is experience, then an observer of the experience, then an observer of the observer, and then another observer behind that one. Experience. Observer. Observer of observer. Observer of observer of observer. Theoretically, this could continue forever. But something about that explanation feels incomplete. If every act of knowing requires another knower standing behind it, we never actually explain awareness. We simply move the mystery one step farther away. Imagine a security room filled with monitors. One person sits watching the screens that seems to explain who sees what the cameras are recording. But who watches the person watching the monitors? So we install another camera and place another security guard in another room watching the first guard. Now someone needs to watch the second guard. Soon we have built an endless series of rooms, cameras, monitors, and observers without ever answering the original question. Who is ultimately watching? Perhaps the problem is not consciousness. Perhaps the problem is the assumption we began with. We assume that wherever there is knowing, there must be a separate knower standing somewhere behind it. But what if knowing does not work that way? Consider light. When a lamp is turned on in a dark room, it illuminates the objects around it. The table becomes visible, the walls become visible, the chair becomes visible. But we do not need a second lamp shining on the first lamp before the first lamp can give light. Its illumination reveals the room while also making the lamp itself visible. The metaphor is imperfect, but it points toward another way of thinking about awareness. Perhaps awareness does not require a second awareness standing outside it to confirm that awareness is happening. Perhaps awareness is intrinsically capable of revealing experience. A sound appears, and it is known. A thought appears, and it is known. An emotion appears, and it is known. Then the thought, I am aware, appears, and that is known too. We do not necessarily need to place another observer behind each experience. There may simply be knowing. This brings us to the central idea. We will continue exploring. There is simply awareness knowing itself. That phrase may sound mysterious, but it points towards something surprisingly immediate. You do not need to think, I am conscious, every few seconds in order to remain conscious. You do not need to remind yourself that you are seeing before seeing can happen. Awareness seems to be present before the explanation of awareness appears. The mind then does something extraordinarily useful. It organizes experience and labels what is happening. It says, I am seeing this, I am thinking this, I am feeling this. Those sentences help create a coherent perspective from which we navigate the world. But perhaps the sentence, I am aware, is not what creates awareness. Perhaps it describes something already happening. And if that is true, the infinite staircase begins to disappear. We no longer need an observer. watching another observer forever. Awareness does not have to stand outside itself in order to recognize itself. There is experience, and there is knowing, perhaps separating those into an endless collection of observers was something the mind added afterward. This does not solve the mystery of consciousness. We still do not know why subjective experience exists at all, precisely how brain activity gives rise to or enables conscious experience, or whether our current scientific understanding captures everything important about awareness. But it changes the question. Instead of asking, where is the final observer hiding? We can ask something more interesting. What if there isn't another observer waiting at the end of the staircase? What if awareness does not need to step outside itself to know that it is here? What if the search ends not because we finally discover a hidden observer, but because we recognize that we may never have needed one? The staircase disappears. The security rooms fall away. There is nothing left to chase. There is simply experience arising and awareness knowing itself. So we left with a different question. What if awareness doesn't require something outside itself to know that it is aware? If we cannot easily locate a separate observer, somewhere behind our thoughts and experiences, why does the feeling of being a distinct me seem so powerful? You probably do not wake up each morning wondering whether you are the same person who went to sleep the night before. There is an immediate sense of continuity. You remember your name, recognize your home, remember the people you love, know what happened yesterday, and imagine what might happen tomorrow. Somehow, thousands of pieces of information are woven together into the familiar experience of being you. This is where neuroscience and psychology become especially useful. The brain continuously integrates enormous amounts of information from the body and senses, while retrieving memories, tracking emotions, anticipating what may happen next, interpreting social situations, and updating its understanding of the world. From all of this emerges an extraordinarily coherent perspective. Me, my body, my memories, my relationships, my life. This sense of self is incredibly useful. We need to know which body to protect. Remember promises we made yesterday. Recognize the people who matter to us. And understand that something we do today may affect us tomorrow. In this sense, the self functions almost like a map. A map is constructed. Someone decides which roads to include, where to draw boundaries, which landmarks matter, and how to represent an enormous landscape in a manageable form. But constructed does not mean fake. A map is useful precisely because it simplifies something far more complicated. Our sense of self may work similarly. The brain organizes an unimaginably complex stream of memories, sensations, emotions, relationships, expectations, and experiences into a story. I am this kind of person. This happened to me. These things matter to me. This is what I believe. This is what I fear. This is where I am going. Psychologists sometimes refer to aspects of this as the evolving story, through which we create continuity between our past, present, and imagined future. And that story matters. But problems can arise when we confuse the map with the entire landscape. Perhaps you learned long ago that you needed to be strong. So, I am the strong one became part of your identity. Maybe rejection became, I am difficult to love. Repeated criticism became, I am not good enough. Or achievement became so important that I am valuable when I succeed. Quietly entered the story. Eventually, interpretations can begin to feel like facts. This is where identity, conditioning, and emotional triggers become deeply connected. Something happens in the present, but our reaction may contain pieces of the past. A comment touches an old insecurity. A disagreement activates an old fear. A disappointment awakens a story we have carried for years. The nervous system responds not only to what is happening, but to what the experience means within the model we have built of ourselves and the world. Yet there is something hopeful here. If aspects of the self are continually constructed and updated, every story about who we are does not have to become a permanent definition. A map can be revised, new roads can appear. Old boundaries can change. We can recognize that something shaped us without believing it must define us forever. And this brings us back to awareness. You can notice your story. You can notice the thought, I am not good enough. You can notice an old identity becoming activated, or yourself defending a particular version of who you believe yourself to be. The moment you notice it, that story has become something appearing within awareness. That raises a fascinating possibility. Perhaps the self we normally experience is not simply a little observer, sitting somewhere inside consciousness. Perhaps it is a continuously evolving model through which a living human being navigates the world. And one of the remarkable things appearing within conscious experience that does not prove consciousness exists independently of the brain, nor has neuroscience settled the deeper question of why subjective experience exists at all. So we should leave this as a possibility rather than a conclusion. But it is a possibility worth sitting with. Perhaps the story of who you are is real and meaningful without being the entirety of what you are. Perhaps the map is valuable without being the landscape. And perhaps the self is something consciousness experience rather than the thing producing consciousness. What is the observer? Where does the sense of self come from? Can awareness know itself without another observer standing behind it? One profound example comes from Tibetan Buddhism, in a tradition known as Dzogchen, often translated as the great perfection or great completeness. Dzogchen is especially associated with the Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism, an and is also found within the Tibetan Burn tradition. It belongs to a much larger contemplative system that cannot be reduced to a single idea. But one aspect of its teachings connects beautifully with the question we have been following. Dzogchen invites practitioners to investigate the nature of mind directly. A central concept is the Tibetan word rigpa. There is no perfect English translation, but it is often described as pristine awareness or recognition of the fundamental nature of mind. Importantly, rigpa is not simply the thought, I am aware. It points toward a direct recognition that comes before we turn awareness into another concept or story about ourselves. To understand why this matters, consider 3 ideas that have been running beneath our exploration: impermanence, interdependence, and awareness. First is impermanence. Everything appearing within experience changes. Thoughts arise and disappear. Emotions intensify and soften sensations, move through the body. Memories fade, relationships change, bodies age, circumstances shift. Even identities we once considered permanent can transform over a lifetime. We often struggle because we try to make something permanent out of what is constantly changing. We hold on to an emotion, relationship, identity, version of the past, or expectation of the future, and quietly ask reality not to move. But reality moves anyway. Then there is interdependence. Nothing exists entirely by itself. Experiences arise through causes, conditions, and relationships. Thoughts are influenced by memories. Emotions are shaped by interpretation. Beliefs develop through family, culture, biology, and experience. Even the person we call me exists within an enormous web of relationships. Our bodies depend on air, water, food, and the environment. Our language came from other people. Our identities formed through countless interactions. We are distinct, but we are not isolated. And then there is awareness. All of these changing experiences are somehow known. A thought arises, and it is known fear arises, and it is known joy arises, and it is known a memory appears, and it is known. Even the thought, I am the observer, can itself be noticed. One traditional image associated with Dzogchen teachings compares the nature of mind to an open sky, with thoughts and experiences appearing like clouds. Imagine awareness as the sky and experiences as clouds passing through it. A thought is a cloud. Fear is a cloud. Joy is a cloud. A memory is a cloud. Identity is a cloud. Even your most convincing story about who you are is another cloud. Some are beautiful, others are dark and frightening. Some remain longer than others. But none of them become the sky, and the sky does not need to fight the clouds in order to remain open. This metaphor changes the goal. Much of life is spent trying to rearrange the clouds. We push away uncomfortable thoughts, cling to pleasant emotions, strengthen certain identities, and escape others. We imagine that if we could finally arrange our inner world correctly, peace would appear. Dzogchen points in another direction. Instead of endlessly rearranging everything appearing within awareness, what happens if we turn toward the nature of awareness itself? This helps clarify what great perfection does not mean. It does not mean becoming a flawless person, eliminating fear or sadness, or creating a permanent state of bliss. It points towards something subtler. What is being recognized does not have to be manufactured through endless self-improvement. The clouds do not need to disappear before the sky can be sky. Maybe this is why our search for the observer kept slipping through our fingers. We were searching for awareness as though it were another object inside experience, another cloud, another thought, another little person behind the eyes. But perhaps what we are searching for is not another thing appearing within awareness. Perhaps it is what makes appearing knowable in the first place. And perhaps awareness is already present. Perhaps. For the next few moments, there is nowhere you need to go, and nothing you need to figure out. This practice is not about reaching a special state of consciousness or finding the correct answer to the questions we have been exploring. It is simply an invitation to notice what is already happening. Allow your body to settle wherever you are. Let your shoulders soften and your hands relax. Allow your breathing to find its own comfortable rhythm. You do not need to breathe in any particular way. Simply notice that breathing is happening. Now imagine yourself lying peacefully beneath an enormous night sky. Above you, the darkness stretches farther than you can see. Stars shimmer across the horizon, surrounded by faint rivers of blue, silver, and gold. A soft nebula glows in the distance, its light moving gently through the darkness. There is nothing you need to reach, and nothing you need to understand. You are simply resting beneath something vast. A few clouds slowly drift across the stars. Watch them appear, watch them move, and watch them disappear beyond the horizon. You do not need to move them, and the sky does not need to hold on to them. They simply pass. Now, gently allow the image of the sky to begin fading away. Let the stars disappear. Let the clouds disappear. Let the horizon disappear. You do not need the visualization anymore. Simply notice what is actually here. Begin with sound. Notice one sound around you. It might be my voice, something in the room, or something far away. Do not name it if you can help it. Simply hear and notice something very simple. The sound is known. You do not need to make yourself aware of it. Somehow, when the sound appears, it is already present within awareness. Then let it go. Another sound may come, or there may be silence. Either is fine. Now bring your attention gently toward the body and notice one sensation. Perhaps you can feel the weight of your body against the surface beneath you. Perhaps there is warmth in your hands, movement in your chest, cool air against your skin, or the subtle rhythm of your breathing. Notice the sensation, and notice that the sensation is known. You do not need to hold on to it. It may strengthen, soften, or move. Let it change. Now notice your thoughts. Do not try to stop thinking. Simply wait. Eventually, a thought will appear. Maybe it is about this practice. Maybe it is a memory. Maybe it is something you need to do later. Maybe the thought simply says, I don't know what I'm supposed to notice. Whatever appears is fine. Notice the thought, and then notice that you know the thought is there. You do not have to push it away, and you do not have to follow it. Let it pass like one of those clouds moving across the night sky. Another thought may appear, and that is fine too. It is known. Now allow your attention to rest somewhere even simpler. Notice that you are aware, not what you are aware of, but the simple fact that experience is happening, and somehow it is known. Pause here for a moment. You are aware. And now, very gently, ask yourself, what knows that you are aware? Do not search for an answer. Do not try to solve the question. Just notice what happens. Perhaps your mind immediately says, me. Notice that thought. It is known. Perhaps an image of yourself appears. Notice the image. It is known. Perhaps you suddenly feel yourself somewhere behind your eyes, looking outward. Notice that sensation too. It is known. Whatever answer appears, simply notice that the answer itself has appeared within awareness. You do not need to reject it, and you do not need to believe it. Just notice. And now stop asking the question. There is no need to continue backward. No observer watching the observer. No awareness of awareness of awareness. Let the entire search become quiet. For the next few breaths, simply allow experience to happen. A sound may arise, and it is known. A sensation may change, and it is known. A thought may appear, and it is known. And then it disappears. You do not have to do anything with any of it. There is nothing you need to hold, nothing you need to push away, and nothing you need to become. Just rest here. Experience arising, experience changing, experience passing. Beneath all of our explanations, questions, labels, and stories, something extraordinarily simple remains. Awareness is here. Not trying to become aware, not standing outside itself and looking back. Simply awareness knowing itself. Gently return to the ordinary world around you. Notice the room again. Notice your body. Notice the sounds around you. There is no need to hold on to anything you may have experienced during this practice. The purpose of all of this is not to spend the rest of your day wondering whether you actually exist. You do not need to permanently maintain some special state of awareness either. Thoughts will return. The inner narrator will return. There will be plans, memories, worries, excitement, irritation, conversations, responsibilities, and probably a grocery list somewhere in there too. None of these are failures of awareness. They are appearances within it. And perhaps this is where an abstract question about consciousness becomes something much more personal. A painful thought can be real without becoming your entire identity. Fear can arise without becoming who you are. A memory can hurt without requiring you to live inside it forever. A story about your past can appear without determining what happens next. An emotion can move through you without being suppressed, judged, or held onto long after it is ready to leave. When we believe that every thought is me, every emotion becomes personal. Every fear becomes an identity. Every old story becomes evidence about who we are. But when we learn to notice experience as experience, something begins to soften. There can be sadness without becoming, I am broken. There can be uncertainty without becoming, I am lost. There can be failure without becoming, I am a failure. There can be fear without allowing fear to define who we are. The experience still matters. We are not denying it or trying to escape from it. We are simply allowing it to move through a larger space. Perhaps that is one of the quiet gifts hidden inside the strange question that began this journey. We started by asking, who is aware? That I am aware. That I am aware. So we searched. We looked behind our thoughts, behind our emotions, behind our memories, and behind the inner narrator. We searched for the observer, and whenever we seemed to find one, we discovered that it too could be observed. So we looked for another observer, and another, and another, until eventually there was nowhere else to go. Perhaps there was never an infinite tower of observers. Perhaps there was only this moment, experience arising, experience changing, experience disappearing. And somehow it is known, not awareness struggling to become aware, not a hidden observer standing outside consciousness watching everything happen, simply awareness knowing itself. And maybe the most beautiful part is that you did not have to create it. You did not have to earn it. You did not have to silence every thought, heal every wound, understand every mystery, or become a different version of yourself before awareness could appear. Through every thought, every emotion, every story, every identity, and every chapter of your life, you were already here. So I will leave you not with an answer, but with one final question. The next time you quietly ask yourself, who am I? Resist the urge to answer immediately. For just a moment, notice what is already here before the answer appears. And ask yourself, before you tell yourself who you are, what is already here to know the answer. Pause here and reflect on what we have covered today. Remember that you are safe, you are loved, and you always have a place in my heart. Thank you for being here. I'll see you for our next video.